What did Beta Lee really say about Jungkook that sent shockwaves through the dance world? Is the golden maknae hiding a side of him we've never fully understood? Prepare to question everything you thought you knew about idols and step into a story that redefines what it means to be a true dancer. Don't scroll without liking, subscribing, and commenting your thoughts. This is one revelation. You must join the conversation for, was it just a compliment? Or a confession that shook the very ground beneath the K-pop stage? When Bada Lee, one of the most revered names in the global dance community, stood before a hushed crowd and uttered words about Jungkook BTS that not even the most devoted army dared to dream of, the atmosphere shifted. It was as though time itself paused for a moment, as if even the spotlight on the stage knew it was illuminating something far greater than fandom could ever define. "He is not just an idol," she said, her voice trembling slightly. "He is a true dancer." Those 8 words detonated across social media like a thunderstorm with no warning, catching even seasoned industry veterans off guard. This wasn't hyperbole, nor a passing compliment said in front of cameras. It was Beta Lee, whose eye for talent has shaped legends, offering her raw truth about Jungkook. But what led to that declaration? What did she see that made her abandon the usual diplomatic praise and speak from a place of reverence? Jungkook has always danced. We've watched him from the beginning, growing, transforming, defying expectations. But to hear Bada Lee speak of him in such absolute, unfiltered admiration forced the world to look again. Was there a moment she couldn't ignore? Perhaps it was the way he moved, not to impress, but to feel. Maybe it was how his body held stories that choreography could only hope to tell. Maybe in him, she saw something rare. Not performance, but presence. She had been invited to a private rehearsal, an intimate closed-door session where Jungkook was preparing for a performance few even knew about. The lights were dimmed, the studio silent except for the low hum of the speakers, and he stood barefoot, alone, eyes closed as if waiting for the music to find him. And when it did, Bada Lee later confessed. She forgot she was a choreographer, forgot she was a professional. For 10 minutes, she became a witness to pain and triumph, to vulnerability and rage, to silence louder than applause. A witness to Jungkook not doing dance, but being it. Her confession was not rehearsed. It came from a place even she admitted she wasn't prepared to face. He doesn't move to please a crowd. He moves like he's fighting for something, she said. That's not just idol work. That's dancer soul. And that's when the question began to haunt everyone who watched the clip. Has Jungkook been hiding in plain sight? How did we reduce him to golden maknae, to variety shows and vocals and brand endorsements, when underneath all the fame, he was quietly sculpting himself into something far more eternal? A movement artist, a storyteller through muscle and breath. In the days that followed Bada Lee's statement, fans began digging up old clips, rewatching performances with new eyes. "I thought I knew him," one comment read. "But now I realize I never really saw what he was trying to say with his body." The replays of his solo dance in Black Swan performances, his unreleased practice videos that never went viral until now, the subtle detail in his freestyle routines during tour rehearsals. Every movement had been a message, coded in sweat and rhythm. But this wasn't just a love letter to his artistry. It was a call to attention. It was Bada Lee, someone who has trained champions and shaped trends, urging the world not to miss what was unfolding in front of us. "We are so used to labeling idols," she said. "But what if one of them is more than that? What if he's been waiting for us to stop watching and start listening?" The tears that welled in her eyes as she spoke those words weren't dramatic flair. They were born from witnessing something sacred, something that shattered the barriers of genre and title. "He deserves a stage the world hasn't built yet," she whispered. Jungkook's reaction? True to form, humble and quiet. In a live broadcast days later, when asked about Beta Lee's comment, he lowered his head and smiled shyly. "I just try to be honest when I dance," he said. "I'm still learning." But is that humility or the mark of a master who knows that mastery is never finished? This isn't just a moment for fans. It's a moment for the entire industry. A turning point. The dance world, notoriously hard to impress, has opened its arms. Dancers from New York to Seoul, from Paris to Rio, are naming him now, not as an idol, but as a peer. Watching him is like reading poetry. said one contemporary dancer on social media. His silence in between beats says more than most entire choreographies. What does that mean for his future? Is there a full-length dance film waiting in the wings? A global stage tour centered entirely on movement and narrative? Are we about to witness the rebirth of Jungkook not as a K-pop icon, but as an artistic force that blurs the line between discipline and dream? And what of those who dismissed him? Those who saw only the pretty face, the viral fame, the fan chants? Are they now reeling, realizing they never looked deep enough? This revelation has triggered a global conversation. Armies are demanding full-length dance showcases. Petitions are surfacing, begging Hybe to let him lead a project that embodies his movement as its heartbeat. But perhaps the loudest voices are not fans. Perhaps the most urgent calls are coming from within the dance world itself. Bada lit the match, but now the fire spreads. This story is not just about one compliment. It's about a reckoning, about the moment an idol stepped out of the spotlight and into his truth. And as he becomes, so does the narrative surrounding him. The world no longer looks at Jungkook with the same lens. The hashtags may still read golden maknae, but the meaning has shifted. It no longer implies a well-rounded idol who does everything well. It now whispers of something deeper, of someone whose golden hue comes from the fire of devotion, discipline, and silent hours in a dance studio when no one is watching. Bada admission wasn't a standalone event. It became the catalyst for an avalanche of testimonials from choreographers, dancers, and trainers who had worked with Jungkook behind the scenes. One backup dancer posted a cryptic, yet moving message on her private story. He never once asked if he looked good. He only ever asked if the movement told the truth. The message leaked, was screenshotted, and spread like wildfire, further feeding the belief that Jungkook's obsession with dance has never been about perfection, but about honesty. In that honesty, people found themselves. Young dancers began uploading videos with captions like, "Inspired by Jungkook's rawness," or "Trying to feel the music the way Jungkook does." He has unknowingly started a movement, literally and emotionally. He is no longer just a product of the K-pop machine. He is its disruption, and yet he says nothing. In the silence, he dances. Even Bada admitted she was initially skeptical. You hear things about idols all the time, that they're polished, that they have stylists, that they're trained to impress. But what happens when one of them decides to go beyond being impressive? What happens when one of them is chasing depth, not applause? It wasn't just the way he executed choreography that amazed her. It was his ability to breathe life into it. Movements that should have been counted in 1, 2, 3, 4 were instead told in waves, in unspoken stories of struggle, yearning, rebellion, and surrender. In one rehearsal, Bada observed that Jungkook stopped mid-move, not because he forgot the steps, but because he didn't feel the emotion in the way he believed he should. And so he started again, from the top, 10 times, 20, without anyone telling him to, without anyone watching. He has a madness, she said, the beautiful kind, the kind that doesn't settle, the kind that never says good enough, the kind you see in great artists who are at war with mediocrity. In another behind-the-scenes whisper, it's said that Bada once broke down in quiet tears after watching Jungkook improvise a short piece set to a simple piano loop. It reminded her of why she fell in love with dance in the first place. "He gave me that back," she confessed. Perhaps that is Jungkook's hidden power. Not just his ability to mesmerize audiences, but his ability to remind, to pull buried emotions from the choreographers, dancers, and fans who had long forgotten why they started in the first place. He unearths the forgotten joy of movement and makes it sacred again.